1 second early. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Collective. It's so good to see you. Let's see if Apollo's behind me. I think he's hanging out and we can get a quick look at him. First and foremost, I hope that your weekend is going well, and I'm so excited to be looking at this second to last week of the year. Can you believe it? I can't. Before I get into showing Apollo or anything, let me just quickly say what we're doing here. This is the Weekly Collective reading. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and each and every week we come here together to take a look at basically what's going on energetically to prepare for the next 7 days. All right, I have Apollo's camera. Let's take a quick look at him so that we can say our hellos and begin. So thank you so much for all of you that wished Apollo well. He is improving. You can see he's still in the cone, probably will be for another week or so, but definitely starting to turn a corner. And again, lots of love and light to all of you that were kind enough to share your well wishes. We're going to be reading with a new deck today. Actually, the deck creator reached out to me. This is beautiful. It's for kids, but look at the illustrations on this. I was like, yes, please, let's take a look at this. So I'm going to save this for the special spread. Thanks to Jason Gruhl for sending this. I appreciate it. With that being said, let's get into the channeled messages for today. So a couple of things came through. One in dreams and then one in my house. We'll start with the latter. As I was getting breakfast ready today and getting Apollo ready for his walk, I don't even know how it got in here, but there was a honeybee, worker bee kind of buzzing around. And that reminded me of just kind of like what many of us might be doing this week in particular. On the sort of eve of several holidays towards the end of this month, there's, rushing to get everything done on the to-do list, maybe trying to find a gift for a loved one, travel accommodations and plans. And, yesterday was a really important day because whether you're in the northern or southern hemisphere, the solstice, it's the same because it basically marks a portal. In the northern hemisphere, it's basically the shortest day and every day gets longer. And then the reverse is true for the southern. But it basically means that a seed that's planted right now has the potential of growing and really kind of pulling us into a nice trajectory as we look at the future. Sorry, I'm going to pull Apollo into his bed so he can... I know, buddy. There you go. Sometimes he has a little trouble with the comb. So giving yourself time to basically... rest, recalibrate, and focus on what matters most right now so that you don't kind of get lost in the shuffle is ever so important. And the other thing that I was picking up on here is you don't have to be alone because bees are social. They're very sort of organized and together. And I think in this moment in time, it's also important to reach out and find the sense of community or support that you might need as well. Now, in dreams, what I saw was kind of looked like a power outage. And this is also kind of like, it's a warning. If you don't take the time, sometimes the universe finds a way of creating a change or a trigger moment for you. And slow down, tune in, and recharge. And today we're going to be looking at a special topic, which was to attract abundance and opportunities. And I think this can also help you connect with where to find that energy. There was, I think, one that was about recharging. I think it's important for us to kind of still look for that energy in this spread nonetheless. So rest assured, I'm going to still look at things that need to be seen, even if the topic is focused in one area. We'll look for abundance, we'll look for growth, we'll look for opportunities. But one thing that came through, and it's a reason that I put it into the topics, was just to make sure that you're not running on empty, if that makes sense. Okay? So with that being said, let's get ready now for the 7-day forecast. So this is going to help us navigate, as it sounds like, the next week ahead. Let me just make some room here on my table. And if you haven't, by the way, already liked and subscribed, please consider doing that. It's free, it helps the channel grow, and I appreciate it. I think I'm going to use the Wild Unknown for this, just because I feel like something a little bit different. And let's turn the camera down and get started. For this, let's take a moment just to clear our minds of anything that might be present. If it's fear, anxiety, all the stuff that I was talking about for the week ahead, let it go. Let it go, tune in, and let's just see what we're in store for, okay? All right. Mercury is direct, but I believe Mars is in retrograde for a little bit. So fighting the fights that are worth fighting, but not fighting in general, is one other message that we can all benefit from. Okay, beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this Sunday. Taking care of yourself. We have the Queen of Cups. She's in reverse. She's reminding you exactly what I was talking about. So that sort of like power outage or blackout, what can happen sometimes is emotionally the body will just shut down at some point where you can't focus. You're not your best. And there are diminishing returns. What I've learned, and it's still a lesson that I struggle with, is it's sometimes better just to cancel, delay, or not do it if you don't feel like you're ready. Put your best foot forward or wait a second. And what really is important here is making sure that emotionally and mentally that you're okay. So if it's just been a rough year or week or month, take a day. Take a day and recalibrate. And if there's something that's worth the opportunity, or if there's someone in your life that really wants to connect, they'll understand if you need 5 minutes or 5 days. So take care of yourself. There's heightened sensitivity, heightened intuition, and for many of you, there's maybe a lack of an outlet. So find an outlet that works for you, and that can include exercise, sports, therapy, art, conversation, parties, travel. I don't care. There's many, many different things that can help you. So take care of yourself and just don't overdo it. That's the main thing here. The company that you keep right now is also extremely important when it comes to your general happiness. So environmental energies are definitely affecting you. So pay attention to that. And know this, I mean, it took me a long time, and I'm at a place now where without, parents right now, I can kind of make a decision if I want to go to an event or not. But you always have that ability to say, this isn't right for me, or I need this in order to be comfortable. It shouldn't have to be at a point where you're untethered. So make sure you're speaking up and using your voice. And if you need some support or some time or some space, give it to yourself, okay? As we look here at Monday, it's a day to ask. So this is exactly a nice sort of bridge from what we were just talking about. Queen of Pentacles reversed. She's taking care of herself. She's saying, I need this in order to feel comfortable, or I'm not sure that this works for me, all of that. Focusing a little bit on house, home, and like whatever in your life feels like a warm blanket of comfort, put that into your life, particularly in Monday. Negotiate when it comes to contracts, exchanges. And if something isn't even, this is something that I talked about in a daily one today, if it's not mutually beneficial, if it's not welcome, if it's not even, she can also negotiate, and she'll get right to the bottom line and say, this is how, this is why, and this is what I expect. So there's this sense of strength with her. And because she's no nonsense and pointing to facts, she's very effective. Queen of Wands, she thinks outside of the box. Queen of Pentacles, she'll highlight it, circle it, and say, this is what we agreed to. What are we doing? So use facts to your benefit, and you can be a very good negotiator on Monday. There may be people in your life that are willing to take and take and take until that bank is gone. The piggy bank is empty. So resist the old habit of doing that. I don't think that that's important. I don't think that that's good, I should say. It's important not to do that. This can also be family members, bosses, people around you, because we're in this season where there's a lot of different people expecting and asking and wanting. And so boundaries are ever so important as we enter into this period of time as well. You can't make everybody happy. Try though you may, okay? Now things turn around. So if you follow the advice, we don't have to focus as much on Tuesday because it looks like you've actually leveled up. I don't really read gender, I read like hierarchy in this. So now we've gone one up in the suit. We have the King of Pentacles coming through on Tuesday, and things have leveled out. And you can now feel like, okay, there's reciprocity. This is a great day to work. It's a great day for meetings. And I have to look at the calendar for the date as well. I think it might be like the very last work day. Yeah, the 24th. So for many of you, this may be the last day you can get some stuff done. before a large part of the world kind of shuts down for 24 to 48 hours. So put whatever seeds of intention or whatever kind of loose ends needs to be tied up into motion, and then let it go. This is, it's kind of like when you've reached the 10 of Pentacles, when you're at the top of that particular suit or that particular rank, you just let it go. So something is done, and then it's important to just release a little bit. Also, parental energy coming through loud and clear here, mother and father energy. So many of you may be just connecting with family. Home is where the heart is, and you don't always have to be in a certain place. That's something that I've learned because I've had to move around a bit over the past few years. It's where you're comfortable. It's where you and your loved ones are. And for me, if Apollo's here and he's okay, I'm okay. Life is good. And it just kind of depends on things like that. Okay, so perspective basically on that. All right, let's go to the midweek. It's a very unusual Six of Wands, but I like it. All right, so on Wednesday, we have this sort of transformative energy, and perfectly timed because I believe that is Christmas Day. I'm just looking at it, yeah. Okay, so irrespective of whether you celebrate the holiday or not, what this represents is a moment of revelation, reckoning, and understanding, but there is this question, can I, will I, is this going to be okay? And you're fine. You're fine. That's actually what this card represents. It is success. The butterfly needs to get out of the chrysalis, though. It has to push its way through in order to dry off those wings, spread them out, and take flight. So I think you're just getting comfortable in your new skin, right? And with all the beautiful, sort of symbolism that happens over the end of this year, whether or not you look at the holiday or just the fact that we have, December 31st to January 1st, renewal is a big theme over the next 7 to 10 days. So you have a chance, if you're ready on Wednesday, to kind of like turn a new page at the very least. Again, irrespective of holidays or beliefs, this is a day where you can say, I think I'm done with that. I think I'm ready for bigger, better, brighter. But you might have to take a new direction because this is focusing on the past. A Six of Wands in reverse is trying to repeat history. When we look at movies, like when there's a sequel, when we look at really popular artists and there's like the sophomoric slump, anytime someone tries to strike lightning twice in the same place, it doesn't work. What you have to keep doing is trying different things. Reinvention actually is the key to being able to last, the test of time. So don't try to repeat. Just do the best that you can in this moment, right? And know that you're set up for success. I do like that we're seeing incoming resources and opportunities. It's what you guys asked for. And then we kind of see it happening here. But it really depends on your ability to say, yeah, it's happening. I'm ready. I'm worth it. Let's do it. This is a very dense, lots of energy in it, 10 of Wands. I'll hold it up. We'll talk about it for a second. And then I'll pull the traditional illustration in just a moment. So you almost can't see, the forest for the trees in this particular illustration. It's typically a very bright and beautiful card, but it does usually show someone that feels the burden of going through it. So pressure, feeling like, how am I going to do all of this on my own? This can also be familial pressure because many of you may be traveling for the holiday season. It could also be the pressure at work. You're so close to getting something done. You're tracking so well that just let it go a little bit. I had to do it. And this week, I'm just working differently. I thought, I need a break. My dog isn't well. I need to recover. I don't want my back to break, right? So follow my lead. Take a break. People will wait. Time will be okay. You'll have a better quality product at the end of the day. And more importantly, you're going to be okay. So this is about self-preservation. Thursday, don't let that final straw kind of break your back. Stop before that happens. And take a moment to get perspective because I can't see what's going on in this card. All I see is density. Take some things off your plate. Get outside and breathe some fresh air. Whether or not the weather is beautiful, it doesn't matter. I think I told you guys a few weeks ago when I went to college, I was in Boston and it was crisp. Massachusetts winter is cold. You get nor'easter storms. There's a lot of Canadian energy that comes through there. It's very, very cold. But I remember getting outside, and if I was kind of drowsy, sleepy, or in a funk, that cold blast of air and the beautiful blue skies usually woke me up. Winter can also shock you into cognition. Get outside, get a breath of fresh air, ground yourself. One of the things that you can do, practical magic, by the way, is just go out and find a tree, even in the city, it doesn't matter where it's at, and just kind of lean on the tree for a second and send into that tree. First of all, say thanks, connect with it, but then imagine that you can connect with the roots and just send into the earth what it is that you don't need. It's a great grounding source. So if you're feeling heavy, go outside and connect with something like that. If you're in an apartment, you can use the wooden floors. There's lots of different ways that you can meditate, and if you can't get out into the earth. But it feels like grounding and meditation is really, really important. And then say a little prayer of gratitude to the tree when you're done, by the way. And that's a great way to get rid of stuff. If you are doing any sort of heavy lifting, moving, or traveling, be mindful not to pull a muscle, because this can also be you lugging a really heavy piece of luggage. And it reminds me of when I was moving a few years back and ended up snapping a metatarsal because my foot hit something uneven on the pavement and then the weight snapped the bone. That's all that happened. It's not like I hit it. It was just carrying a heavy load and I broke my foot. So don't pack lightly, take a note from the Fool, and take care of yourself, okay? All right. The Hanged Man at the end of the week in the reverse state. Easy does it, folks. There's no rush. And if somebody's putting undue pressure, unrealistic expectations, or anything of that nature into your life, just kind of take a step back and know that a lot of times that's their own sort of Chicken Little syndrome where they feel like the sky is constantly falling, right? And we've all been around someone like that, whether it's a classmate that's worried that they haven't studied for a test or they failed it, or a boss that's worrying about getting something done, or a parent that is worrying, can you do it? Are you going to be okay? When are you going to find some? All of that stuff, it just adds up. So there's no rush. Let it go. The Hanged Man is just hanging out for a second. And if anything, we need you to continue what we were talking about from Thursday and just lessen the load a little bit and wait. Wait until you feel calm and even and ready. And pump the brakes if someone's rushing. Nothing good comes of rushing the Hanged Man. Typically what happens on that is you end up making a misstep. Traditionally you see one of the rope is around the ankle on this card. So it's kind of like you can trip yourself up if you're not careful, all right? Enough said. Now let's take a look at the weekend. So I love that we have the Emperor card, beautiful energy connected to the tree, which we were just talking about. This is hopefully when you finally feel that you found your footing again. This is a great day to reach out and say, hey, this is what I need, this is what I want, etc., and take care of yourself. But a good day for business, a good day for completing tasks. It's the ultimate boss card in the entirety of the deck. So anything that you need or want to do, or any conversation that you need to have and do so successfully, Saturday is the day to make this happen, okay? It's interesting that we see an eclipsed sun in the corner. What it kind of shows to me is that there's something more than you're thinking about. So that's why the pause energy came through the day before. Even now, don't rush, like kind of look and wait a second. Eclipses are very short. I've never made it to a totality one of these days, but it's a matter of a few minutes when the sun's blocked out. So a couple of things here. First of all, if it's good, it could get better. If there's a moment where things aren't going well, wait a second, and the sun will again return. And again, it's not the end of the world. Back in, the antiquity, maybe before people understood what eclipses were and how they functioned, it must have felt cataclysmic. So don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Take it one step at a time, and we see a silver lining on this card for sure, okay? Patience. Patience is key. And then I love that we have a bunch of really powerful cards of the King of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the King of Swords at the top of all the suits, basically, or definitely when it comes to power. A week from today, it feels like many of you have found your voice, you're taking action. Wisdom is coming through because we have the beautiful owl here. And again, I feel like there's a little bit of a breakthrough happening here too. And it also is like reclamation of power. So whatever this is where I definitely, okay, we're going to move on to highlights and lowlights. This is the challenge of the week. You can see how the shadow begins here, it goes here, and then it ends there. So there's this sort of, there's a shadow that comes through here. It could be doubt, uncertainty, etc. And it's about 24 to 48 hours, but it's like these two split over 3 days. So take your time in this period because you're fine, but emotions could shift the perspective and make something harder than it needs to be. You have 3 really power points here, powerful days. Let's see, this is Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Really, really great cards. So you can do whatever you need or want to do. If there's something that you need at the beginning of the week, ask. But do so from a place of like the Father of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles. He's going to be focusing on the bottom line, as is Queen of Pentacles. Facts, figures, and a neutral sort of thing. There doesn't need to be a lot of emotion into this. It's just holding people to account. Okay. Now let's move on to the elemental forecast. This is the only piece of this reading that is really going to be specific to any sign. And then we'll get into the special topic and we'll use a new deck, which will be exciting. All right, I'm going to use Last Unicorn for this. Let's just make a little bit of room so I can see what I'm doing. All right, focusing on all of the elements, we're going to do fire, earth, air, and water. Okay, let's begin with fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Pretty good card here. 8 of Pentacles represents progress, learning, creation. The traditional card shows somebody hammering out the final details. The Last Unicorn deck shows kind of like the final part of a spell. So you could either be creating something new or breaking a spell if you felt like stuck or anything of that nature. And it's really encouraging you to somehow put it into writing or into motion. Because we are so close to the end of the year, setting intentions, including right now, we still have a little bit of the energy of the solstice kind of seeping through. Today and this week, do it now. Don't wait until January 1st or December 31st. This is the time to set those intentions. This is the time to see some progress. Really good for my writers out there or anybody that's trying to get a contract written or finalized here with the 8 of Pentacles. If there's something that you want to learn or complete, all of this energy is definitely comprised within 8 of Pentacles. It can be a very busy and productive week. Take a moment also to look at your budget and your schedule and iron out any details. Planning is really, really good with this as well, okay? So learning, planning, writing, and rolling up your sleeves and getting stuff done. So if I had to just sum it up, it's a productive week for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Make the most of it and do what you will. Or maybe some of you are just opening up a book and doing some reading too. Whatever it is, you feel like it feels like you're getting caught up on things. Let's move from fire to earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. A little bit more healing for the earth signs this week. 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Healing wounds from the past, the inner child. Because we are looking at a new year, that big grandfather clock really comes through loud and clear. The waves of emotion, the waves of nostalgia, this sort of thinking, what would have happened if I would have done this? What am I going to do next? I definitely feel, even though this isn't cups, it's one of the most emotional pentacle cards that you can get. So take time to heal and focus on now and tomorrow. It's interesting that there's a lot of energy that sometimes goes into past life regression, focusing on the past or focusing solely on the future. These are both powerful things. The past gives us context. It helps us understand kind of karmically where we ended up and why we are here. The future is a sort of like, it's like you're putting your finger to the wind, seeing if you like the direction of where you're going. But your power is in now. And so never underestimate the power now to turn the ship in a new direction. You're not defined by the mistakes of the past. You're not defined by other people in your life, especially if they lacked the imagination or just the tools with which to cope or support you. So the inner child's growing up and saying, I have to do this. It's not I can or I will. It's like I have no choice but to support myself and to thrive. So you're finding that inner stubbornness and strength to just go for it. Because at the end of the day, I mean, it all really is, this lifetime is it's your chance to grow and learn and know. So it feels like the previous sign got it because they're getting to work, but you have to calibrate and recalibrate for a moment, take care of yourself and know that there's so much potential, and that's what we want to focus on. In order to kind of grieve or decompartmentalize all of this, it may be beneficial to talk to a friend, a counselor, or a therapist, but generally speaking, this is self-care. Now, some of you are just burned out. This can be a cold, a flu, or just like, I'm tired. And if that's the case, that's why the Hanged Man energy came through this week. And it's saying, take care of yourself. Don't push to the point that the tower comes, or that sort of like blackout energy that I saw with the power going out. We don't want your battery to deplete. For those of you that, if you have a phone, you're not supposed to let it go to zero. It's supposed to charge around 40%. The sweet spot is like 40 to 80. You keep it within that sort of realm so you don't overcharge or undercharge. The same thing of the body. You don't want to oversleep. You don't want to burn yourself out. Because when you do the burnout cycles, there's only so many of them that you can do, and then your body just says, forget it. And it's a bigger thing that comes through. So take care of yourself. Also, if you've had any previous injuries with your feet, Five of Pentacles can sometimes be related to that. So do take care of that. Okay, moving on to the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. I was talking about a change of scenery could help. Absolutely. Get outside, take a walk, try something new, try something different, start something new. It feels like some of you, it's been a sort of 2 steps forward, 1 step back thing where sometimes you're wondering, is this ever going to happen? Just keep moving gently towards that goal. But for those that are feeling like just stuck or a lack of passion, it's time to change things up. Also, to the metaphor, when we were looking at this weight on your back of the 10 of Wands, rather, we want to avoid the 10 of Swords, and the Fool travels lightly. In this particular deck, he just is taking, those little balls that he's juggling with, or the fruit. But like normally, it's the knapsack. We don't have to carry a lot with us into this next chapter. Clean slate, that's the last thing, and then we'll move on. So for all of my air signs, who sometimes the biggest benefit from all the air signs is the ability to see things from all angles, because air can really do that. But sometimes, particularly Libra, but not just Libra, you can overthink or lack focus or concentration. So just get started and don't get too much in there where the wheel keeps turning, okay? 1 step at a time, 1 breath at a time, you've got this. And finally, now let's take a look at water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Beautiful energy here with the Empress. She's cooking up something new in this particular deck. So this is a time to really lean into creation, maybe nurturing or incubation, something brand new that you might be thinking about starting. And one thing that I get with this message is feel free to not share it with others, because everybody is a critic, right? Everybody has feedback. Everyone thinks they're an expert. So it's really important for you to get to the point where you feel comfortable, confident, and passionate about what it is that you want to do, so that other people's emotions don't derail you, okay? And that's everything for that. So overall, these are pretty manageable cards. Interesting that we've got a few Earth cards, and then we have freedom and then like empowerment coming through. So I think the overarching thing here is 1 step at a time. All right, folks. Let's get ready now for the special topic for today. Again, the special topic is to attract abundance and opportunities. I'm also going to look for anything that could be creating that sense of burnout, because we don't want that to happen, obviously. And because the bee came through, I'm also going to look for, that's actually a sign of abundance, which is probably why the bee was attracted to my house this morning, but teamwork, family, things of that nature. All right, let's turn the camera down and let's get this new deck here. You can see it's called the Kids Tarot, but it's not just for kids. I'm going to give it a few shuffles here to make sure that everything is random. While I'm shuffling, take a moment, if you will, to imagine a beautiful rising sun. And if there is anything that has been causing a sense of stress, anxiety, etc., now is the moment to just sort of let it go and see the sun kind of clearing the fog. You can see a bunch of fog behind me. So just imagine that the fog in your life is starting to clear. Okay. We've shuffled enough. Let's begin. So we're looking for opportunities, abundance, mainly. Like the colors in this deck are beautiful, aren't they? And again, I'll put a link in the video when I'm done, but this is the deck that I'm using, Kids Tarot. But I think we're all kids at heart. Thanks again to Jason for that. I appreciate it. Okay, let's get started here. We're going to begin with the catalyst energy, and we have Spirit Totem Animal Direction coming through. This kind of reminds me in this deck of almost like the Wheel of Fortune, the way this is created here, but there's a little bit of soul searching that's happening here because we see all these different animals. It's kind of like, which one is you? It's very interesting that as I looked at the spread, I know I saw it here. There was a hummingbird somewhere. Here it is, Ace of Cups representing you. So we have two hummingbirds coming through. It's asking you to take a moment to drink, to take care of yourself. When I was a kid, we used to feed the hummingbirds at my home, and I remember watching them come early in the morning, but I loved when they would just sit there, perch for a second, and replenish. And then also they go into this, I think it's said, pronounced torpor, but this stage of deep, deep meditation and sleep where their heart almost slows down and they perch at night. So they have to rest. They're busy all day, but they rest. And one thing that this is saying is you've got to rest in order to get there. The eagle is also to get something done. The eagle is about perspective. This is like the world. It's often connected to the world card in many decks. And in order to find that sort of sense of expansion, we have to replenish. We have to get a bird's eye perspective and listen to your instincts as we look at the coyote or wolf there on the side. So I actually do see a few distinct messages here. But where do you want to go? What's your goal? This is the time to put those intentions into motion. Okay? Let me take a quick drink, and then we're going to go card by card through this spread. Okay. First of all, let's see what's coming through here. It's pretty much positive. It's interesting that some of the messages for the signs came through like it's Five of Cups here. Five of Cups, Five of Pentacles have to do with those heavy emotions. So that's going on in the environment, but the overall trajectory is pretty good. So we have your Wisdom, Queen of Cups, Sun card coming through showing that you have the ability to make this happen. Hierophant energy here. All right, let's go with the Hermit first. So the Hermit has to find the light within before trying to step into the spotlight, lead the way, speak up. That is why it's important sometimes to take a step back and get decisive, get clear, and believe in yourself. And for many of you, you could be rekindling a flame that you thought you forgot or didn't have, but it's still there, okay? Once you're ready, obviously with the Hermit card, there's always an invitation to come out of your shell and share that with others. But I think that one thing this week in particular that could help is a little bit of you time. This is especially true if you're traveling. Let me just turn the blind a little bit and then we'll continue. So the Knight of Cups is right on top of that, and that is that increased sensitivity that some of you might be feeling. And there's an encouragement to have some fun this week, to connect with people that you enjoy being with, to do something artistic or creative. And I mean, it's inner child energy coming through too. Maybe that's why I was drawn to use this deck today too, is we have to find that inner child. But artistic endeavors could be really, really helpful. Creative, fun. Don't take yourself so seriously. And when you can laugh a little bit, it breaks the tension. And when I think of my favorite jobs or activities, it's typically in a group where you're having fun, right? Then you don't mind. Then you don't mind putting in that extra effort. It just feels like it's more time with people that you love, doing things that you love. And that's what I'm getting with this. Heightened creativity and a chance to creatively express yourself. So here's the wisdom. Here's a creative expression of the wisdom. And that is the key to success in this moment in time. Okay? Let's look at the deep past. In the deep past, we have Hierophant energy or wisdom coming through. And this reminds me of the King of Pentacles, right? I think that was the stag that had the pentacles above its head. And this is also kind of taking that energy of the hermit and making it more relatable. Sometimes you have to take a few steps back and make it clearer, because the hermit's higher up, but this is about teaching and imparting wisdom on others. And sometimes you have to use different language or approaches. So one size doesn't fit all. If you're trying to be persuasive in communication, if you're trying to convey your point, you're going to have different types of conversations with people of different walks of life and different levels of expertise. So tailor your message. That's what I get with this. And also kind of going along the lines of the Eight of Pentacles, for those of you that got that. I think that this is a great time for learning, mentorship, and being a mentee as well. So learning and wisdom coming through loud and clear here. Also, these two cards in general are just showing that you're more capable and wiser than you may give yourself credit for, or others may. So definitely don't underestimate yourself. You have what it takes here. Six of Wands coming through again. So we had the butterfly in the 7-day forecast with the Six of Wands. It was reversed, and I was like, focus on now, focus on potential, focus on the future, focus on evolution and reinvention, not repeating the past. I like that she's kind of like a magician, right? When you're looking really close, right around her heart chakra, she has that little orb of energy, and she's waving her wands. She's setting those wands into motion, because wands are basically connected with magic. So you've been working hard for this moment. Don't get in your own headspace when it comes to can I, should I, will I. Just show up and allow it to kind of all come through. This is also one of the travel cards, because typically you would see a horse in this. So if there's an opportunity that could require travel or relocation in this moment in time, it actually might be advantageous, as we're looking here, not just at the week ahead, but almost the new year. We're not there quite yet with this particular reading, but very close. So you might be looking and thinking, what am I going to do next year? Do I want to stay where I'm at? It feels like many of you have already set into motion either the decision that you want to change, or you've started to plant the seeds, and we see good things coming from that, okay? Page of Wands, continuing the momentum of the Six of Wands, and maybe focusing on one thing that matters most. I'm not sure why the wand here is a little worried. They shouldn't be, because by the time you've gotten to the page, hopefully you're excited about what you have to say or do. If you aren't, if there's hesitation, then this is the moment to get clear on that. It's so much easier to listen to someone who believes in themselves or the thing that they're trying to sell or get us interested in than the reverse. Because if there's someone that's like, you should really try this, but there's no sort of sense of, it's like they're reading from a script, you're not going to buy it. You're not buying into the script, you're not buying into the lack of authenticity, and you could care less about the product rather. So feel it, see it, then communicate it. This also includes when there's something that you need to share with someone. It can literally be coming out. It could just be an announcement or declaration. But when you believe it and when you say to someone, I'm really excited about this, you're someone that I care about. You're one of the first people that I wanted to tell this, so here it is. You've set them up for success. You're like, this is good news. I like you. You're going to receive this well. That's the only way you want to pepper something. Otherwise, just get it out there. Either neutral or in a very sort of positive way. And neutral doesn't mean monotonous. It means that you could just say, I have something I like to say or have an idea. Still slightly on the positive side. Pages need to have passion. And so I think this person is finding their passion and finding their pace, but they're not quite ready yet, the way this one's illustrated, which is why the coaching on this. Pages also may be lacking inspiration, particularly the Page of Wands, and the way that the Page of Wands can find inspiration is reading, listening to something, taking a class, getting out in life a little bit, changing their perspective. This page needs to get inspired and needs to believe in themselves a little bit more. This helps connect us with the special topic, which is to attract abundance and opportunities. This is the key. This is the keystone here. So that has to be in play and in place for everything to work out. Moving forward, Queen of Cups. I like that we have a mermaid here on this one. So, a couple of things. You may be asked to kind of split your time between two different places. Whenever I see this, it's kind of like mermaids can be in the water, but they can also kind of, for a second or two, be on land. And so you may have to get out of your comfort zone and work with a different group of people. Of course, during the holiday season, this makes sense, but in social spheres, in work, and in life, you have to believe in yourself. Mermaids are kind of magical too. So one of the things that I want you to trust is that your creativity is going to come through and save the day. So creative problem solving is what you really want to lean on. There may not be an obvious choice, or look, maybe something was done and it wasn't perfect. You're going to get creative about how to wrap it up and edit it or change it a bit so that it feels right. Lean into your creativity. You've got this. You can find a way. And it's just about wrapping it up in a different package, perhaps. For no particular reason other than my guides are saying this, go the distance comes through. Perhaps because we have like an aquatic kind of illustration here, but your ability to push yourself out there, to go the distance, it will be appreciated by someone else. So maybe it's putting in the extra effort. It was kind of like a personal aside. I have a teacher that I've kept in touch with when I was like a co-editor of my yearbook back in high school, and I let them know that I had to get rid of all my stuff, including the yearbooks. She happened to have an extra copy lying around and sent it to me, and it reminded me of how hard I was working that particular semester to go the distance, and I was happy to have that again. I mean, it didn't matter because, like I said, it's all here and here. But when I looked through it, I'm like, this was a lot of hard work. That was an example of going the distance, and it stood the test of time. So if you're going to do something, do it well. Go the distance, creatively, energetically. And, you have many lifetimes, but you get one chance to do this, so hit it out of the park when you have a chance to do that. People will remember that. All right, Ace of Cups, connecting us to the totem energy here. And the kind of the way that I'm reading this, I mean, yes, it can be northeast, south, and west, but this can also be kind of like the spread here, deep past, recent past, like present and future. So it feels like one of the things from the past that's coming back is this sense of, I look at hummingbirds as optimistic and high frequency. And it's interesting too, like caffeine, but you might be finding you're getting re-energized. And maybe you're learning. One thing that I had to do was cut out coffee because of some of my stomach issues. You don't need it as much. You'll find other ways to get energized. Rest is one of them. And then your body just kind of recalibrates. So finding a new source of inspiration. And that helps us with the blackout or burnout or depletion energy that I saw with that sort of power outage. Finding a new source. Not going to food, caffeine, alcohol, or excess in general to kind of find that sense of feeling alive, finding something else. There could be love, opportunity, something exciting, some good news coming through. And the Ace of Cups representing you is saying, are you ready? All of the aces are basically the universe presenting, but you have to receive. So the missing piece is the other hand. You're the other hand. So the universe is presenting this. Are you ready to receive? Like the hummingbird, take time to rest. We talked about that. Okay. Now as we take a look at the environment, this isn't necessarily you, but it could be indicative of the space that you are living in, the work space that you have to kind of put up with, maybe neighbors or environment in general. You're okay based on what I've seen, but there's something environmentally that is a little less than optimal. 5 of Cups. It can be the crow up here, the raven, that's cawing and focusing on all the stuff that isn't working. And it's the 3 cups that are spilled. Well, we missed this, and you didn't do this, and why not this? Meanwhile, we saw one of the 2 cups here, but there's something beautiful right beside you. There's a lot of similarity between 5 of Cups and 5 of Pentacles. It's just a question of, is it like internal or is it external? Because this is external, I don't think it's the voice in your head. I think it's the voices around you. So, and by the voice in your head, I mean like your self-confidence or self-consciousness. So I think it could be parent, teacher, relative, neighbor, someone like that. And they're the crow. They're the ones that are sort of focusing on the 3 cups spilled. You got to focus on the 2 cups upright. And when you think of 2 of Cups in the minor arcana, it really is friendship, partnership, love. So find the people in your life that are in the same frequency. Tune that out. It's like you have to put on noise canceling headphones, which, by the way, if you work in an office, may be a good idea. Or if you're having a hard time concentrating, you can do that. I have actually a few sets here because of if doing podcasts, I do 1 set, but I also have like the Beats ones where you can just turn it on. It does help if there's a noise. You can then focus on what it is what's in front of you. But finding a way to tune it out, either literally or figuratively, there's something going on where it's like that bird cawing and squawking in the background. And I think it's important to find a way to sort that out. And for some of you, by the way, that's why you might be deciding to move in a new direction. And that might be why this page can't see how powerful they are, because someone around them is causing distraction. Good news is you have one of the most powerful Queen cards here. Queen of Wands coming through to save the day. That is a big cat on her shoulders. Normally the cat's just in the corner. I love how they chose to make it more prominent here. The reason is cats listen to their intuition. They typically land on their feet. They have 9 lives. Apollo's in the other room. I think he has 9 lives too. And so that's why whatever it was that seemed like it was the end of the world, Chicken Little, it's not. We're seeing that there is that silver lining here. There is a way through it. Become the boss that you are. This is boss mode energy. It also is creative, innovative, forward thinking. That's why this isn't working. Someone around you is focused on the past, repeating the past. And that isn't the way to growth or success. There may be things that you want to preserve that worked, but invariably, we change, we grow, we expand, and we need to go into that expansive energy. You might have outgrown someone or something in the environment. You are your own fairy godmother. She reminds me a lot of a fairy godmother here, okay? And you can and you will land on your feet. And that's what this cute, very cute black cat is saying in the background. Ultimately, appropriately too, because we're using a kid's deck here, we have the sun, which is birthing energy, renewal, power, arguably the most powerful card next to the sun, perhaps, when it comes to being able to pull things in. I would say the 3 power cards here are the sun, the star, and the lovers. And we got, I just recently read the lovers, I think, in the daily. And so all of these are magnets to different degrees. The sun is the cohesive one. It's the reason I would say it's more powerful than even the star is because it's closer. A star represents a distant body that is bright, that inspires us to look beyond our current situation, but the sun is relatable. We see it every day and night. It's the glue that holds the solar system together. So you have the power, and it's really important to feel that. Solar plexus right now. If you need to focus on healing or strengthening your solar plexus, by all means do that. If there's anything going on in your life that is like this environmental thing taking you out of that, it could lead to digestive issues or stress issues around the stomach. So yes, it's important to look at your nutrition, but it might even be more important to look at the people that are around you in order to reconnect with your power, okay? So I quite like this. Before we go into the expanded forecast, these are the two most important cards here because this is where your head's at and this is where the possibilities are. And they're both power cards. So follow through on your idea and believe in yourself. Know that you can actually blend in different groups and different situations and step into the spotlight when you're ready. The Hermit is laying the foundation for that to happen. So knowing yourself and believing in yourself, working through some of these other issues, and then coming out with this, and the sun is just another star. So the Hermit always has a star in its lantern. So you're getting ready for this. Lack of confidence, environmental issues. These are the challenges. And it's hard to find it in this spread because most of the cards are good. All right, let's go into the expanded forecast where we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to begin with health energy, which is your mind, body, and spirit. Day and night. Each day is a reset. First of all, there's a couple of things here. Not carrying with you from one day to another fears or anxieties, kind of like you would with the Nine of Swords, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is rituals and schedules. Are you getting enough sleep at night? Do you have a predictable sort of schedule of eating, exercising, and resting? If not, it might be time to create a better schedule in your life. And there may also be just this, the way that I'm being shown it is kind of like a lack of boundaries between this. So you're working into the wee hours of the morning, or again, you're carrying things with you from the day before or into the next day. And it's important to have better boundaries between day and night. And I have a smaller apartment now that I've moved into. It's like half the size of the place that I was in before, but I like it better. But I've defined spaces. So on the other side of this, I have a couch. But if I'm sitting in the couch, I won't be looking here. I'll be looking towards the kitchen or something just to kind of help define the space a little bit. And that's where I can rest or read or look at something on my iPad. In the bedroom, there's no TV. It's just for resting. Like I kind of define the spaces very specifically so that it feels like each one is unique. You don't need a lot of space to have that sense of separation. So focus on organizing your schedule, your space, and the way that you kind of like exist within the space so that it feels good for you. Briefly looking at the cards to see what else is coming forth. I'm getting concentration when I look at this. Focus and concentration. It feels like this page is focusing on the wrong thing and wants something to happen faster than it needs to. So to me, there's no question of success or being able to execute on something, but there's impatience and there's focus in the wrong perspective. A chance to find things in your life that energize you, that aren't caffeine, that aren't the vices, to focus on possibilities. In nature, when I'm walking Apollo or doing something, and if I've had a rough day, Spirit speaks to me with totems. So today the bee was like abundance and busyness and possibility is coming. But if I'm having a rough day and I see a hummingbird, that's Spirit saying, raise the frequency, look up, look around. Don't let yourself get anchored in this current emotion. And I love hummingbirds too. So I focus on that. I'm like, okay, we're good now. Message received. So raise the frequency. And if there's something in your life that makes you happy and passionate, now is the time to connect with that. Okay? All right. Let's see here. Okay. Some of you are also doing some research. So with the Wisdom and Hermit cards, they're educational energies. So if there's something that you need or want to do, whether it's an elective procedure or you're getting a second or third opinion, completely support the research portion of this. And the more you know and the more experts that you speak to a certain perspective, I think good. I would actually cap it at like 3 opinions is usually enough. If you start to go too far, there's a reason that in the minor arcana, the 7 of Cups is confusion. Once you've hit 7, you don't know what you're doing. YouTube recently took the poll from 5 to 4, and I noticed that there's usually clearer winners that way. So I would say 3, max of 4. That's what you should kind of go with when you're looking at potential places that you want to go for a doctor or move or whatever it is that you're researching. Put a cap on it and stop at that point. Otherwise, lack of focus. The most important thing is healing the environment or the distraction or the mental sort of perspective. So if you are having a hard time not focusing on this, changing the location or changing the audience, 2 of Cups can be the counsel that you're keeping, these 2 wise people in your life, that can help out quite a bit too. Some of you may be pregnant. Some of you might be starting a new health routine. The sun is birthing creation and a new cycle. So all of that is pretty good. Like I said, the only thing that I picked up on here is because of the 5 of Cups, perhaps a suppression in the solar plexus. So making sure that you're healing the solar plexus and the things that are related to that, including digestive organs. Please be kind to that part of your body. That's why perhaps cutting back on the coffee is smart. Otherwise, we're pretty good. So let's move on. Let's go to wealth. All right, so we have Stargate Heart. Well, here we go. Another area that wants to be focused on here, but this is in wealth, is the heart chakra. I have an idea. I think for the final reading of this year, and we're not counting, I should say penultimate because I'm going to do a New Year's Eve. But I think for the final reading of the year, I'm going to go to all of the unpopular choices and read for them. So it may be reader's choice, and I'm going to pick the ones that never win, but should. One of them is the heart chakra. I've put it up no less than a dozen times, and nobody picks it. We need to look at the heart because it's the gateway between your power and your voice. So I'm going to do the ones that don't get chosen. Someone left a kind of salty comment earlier saying, this one never happens. I'm out of here. I'm like, just be patient. So I think what I'll do is focus on giving a spotlight to some of the things that aren't really popular but are very powerful. And that might be the penultimate one. Then we'll do something really special for the last one of the year. That being said, listen to your heart. Trust your heart, okay? And unlocking your heart, kind of like clearing your heart is like the key to unlocking potential. Generosity is really good. Kindness and generosity go a lot further than sort of like, I feel like if the heart gets closed down, then there's anger, resentment, frustration, all of those things that kind of like then seep out. So we want to focus on elevating it. It's okay to feel anger, jealousy, or frustration, but then you can think to yourself, what can I do about it? How can I adjust this? Where is this coming from? So you have to lean into it for a second. And then the rainbow happens. You have to like let the rain happen. So that's what I would say here is processing emotions and deciding what am I going to do about it? Where did it come from? And how can I go to the root of it? Because how I'm feeling is just the reaction or the surface. We have to go a little bit deeper. As I look at the cards here and we go deeper into all of this, I'll help you out. All right, we're going to navigate into 3 major topics. Those who are either in a job or self-employed, those that are seeking employment, and then those that are students or retirees. I need a quick drink, and then we're going to look at all of that. Okay, here we go. If you are currently employed by someone else, here's what I see. I think that sometimes they're not listening to your ideas. So we can take this on a different level. You have an idea, you see the worth, and you're like, why aren't they listening to me? I totally get that emotion from this Page of Wands, and I agree with you. And unfortunately, the answer is sometimes people are conservative and they're kind of stuck in the past, because Hierophant energy is very conservative. Hermit energy can even be a little bit conservative sometimes because they're closed off. They're used to a certain way of thinking or doing things. And they're looking at you thinking, you know, that's too aggressive. That's too outlandish. It's not. But they can't see the sort of Queen of Wands energy that exists in that nugget. So ultimately, pick and choose your battles. Like I said, Mars is in retrograde. Focus on the future. Is this aligned with your goals, with your skills, and with your energy? When I was in my very last corporate job, I was frustrated and angry, but I realized it was misplaced. I'm like, this is how the place is. I've changed. I'm not the same person I was 10 or 15 years ago when I started this whole journey. And so I need to change. I need to move. This place won't change, nor do I have the time, energy, or current rank to change it. So I'm going to focus on something else. So if you've changed and if you've leveled up, which it looks like you have, then it may be time to look at other prospects. Whatever you decide to do, you're fine. The sun is coming through. You can stay, you can go, you can focus on a side hustle if you want to, maybe go to school and learn something new and then set yourself up so you can land on your feet. There's so many different ways you can take this, but all I can give you in this moment is validation that you are creative, that your ideas have merit, and that there may be a block because of someone that thinks that they're smarter. This card flipped on its own, wisdom. So they're not listening to conventional wisdom, or they're not going outside of their own two ears, you know? Here's what you're bringing to the table right now. Creativity, innovation, communication, because pages are communicative. You're successful. Like, you have an idea that has the ability to land. But you may have to go somewhere else. You may have to kind of change it up a little bit. I did mention the importance of speaking to different audiences, so and that was in this card. So not everybody understands things in the same way, so you may have to show it rather than tell it. We don't have a lot of swords in this spread. Do we have any? No. So wands are demonstrative, and that's a fancy word for like just showing an example, illustrating it, pointing to it. That doesn't mean that she can't talk. It just means that they, in addition to speaking, might have a prototype or an illustration. Just like these illustrations are really bright and bring different things in, a different way of showing up can also help. So consider that. Consider a different communication method than usual, and that could light their fire, so to speak, and get them excited. You do have the potential here. It is about turning them here and shutting down the negativity. So I do remember in corporate environments, it is sometimes there are people that just talk and they're not necessarily saying anything. This is why I can't focus on LinkedIn that much, because they're just like, we're going to leverage our learnings from the last quarter and smart size this and blah, blah. They're just nonsense words. And I remember going to a meeting thinking, what does all of this mean? What are you trying to say? And being the voice of reason could be very advantageous here, but sometimes you have to shut down that and say, that's a great idea, but let's finish this first. Let's put that on the whiteboard and table it for a second because we need to finish this, because sometimes that person can come in, for a second, I lost my train of thought. You lose your train of thought. So make sure that everybody gets a turn and it's not just that one crow that's making the noise. School, I remember that too. There'd be a kid going, oh. They'd be raising their hands. Nobody does that as an adult. They just speak up, right? So making sure that everybody has a chance to participate, that all ideas are at least acknowledged. They don't have to all be agreed upon. We can reserve judgment for later, things like that. And that's if you don't always have the chance to, facilitate a meeting. But if you do, that's the challenge and opportunity here, is to make sure that one voice isn't drowning out the rest. Yeah, jargon, someone's putting in there. It's so much jargon. It's interesting because when I wrote a sci-fi novel, that was why I created like this sort of language of the state that would confuse people. It was called jargon because it doesn't mean anything. It's nonsense language, and it's a great way to obscure what really needs to be said. So you can even say, break it down into something that makes sense. You're not making sense. That's not tracking. What do you mean by that? Keep asking, and then sometimes you can get them to say something. Sometimes they don't know what to do when that happens. Enough about that. I just want to say, find a place where your ideas can be heard and make sure that you're doing something that creates passion in your life. But overall, this is a good spread. This is a good week. Trust yourself. For those who own their own company, entrepreneurs, it is important to listen to customer feedback. Don't let one voice drown out the rest. So there may be one really unhappy, unkind, loud person. Deal with them. It is important to address it. Say, let's talk. Let's figure this out. It'll be worth the time and energy, but don't let that derail you from the good work that you've done. If there comes a point where they're not kind or they're not listening, then there's other ways to shut that down. But I just see one voice here that could be taking you out of your overall good energy trend here. Things that you want to focus on as we're even kind of looking at the year ahead. You're treading in a good direction. You need to lean into your creativity and your innovation. More of that. It would also be good to listen to an external source or an intern, or keep your mind open. There may be one more idea that's circulating in your company and it's not getting the airtime that it deserves. It's good news, though. When I'm looking at these two cards, I feel like this week is pretty good. Have some fun, focus on positive messaging. I think also when it comes to like marketing, we're lacking that. So either leaning into the positive feedback from customers too, maybe soliciting that when possible to also balance this out would be good. And I think that's everything for this. Okay, moving on to job seekers. It may take 3 to 5 days. I think this week is pretty quiet for obvious reasons because of the holiday, but all of this is good. I think that's what really is important here is finding a job that resonates with you where you can feel creative, you can do more than one thing, and you have this sense of freedom here too. So be discerning in your sort of outreach where you're looking at, but we do have an ace. So yes, I think it could be great. An ace in the sun card represents something good. If there are rejections and they just happened because this is in the environment, you don't want to work in the 5 of Cups. It's not the best environment. There's one more better thing on the horizon for you. Be patient and keep treading in this direction here. Okay, looking at those who have retired first, and then we'll go to students. So I love Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups. Passion project is what's coming through here. Also, we have, like I said, teaching and mentorship energy here. There could be new love coming into your life too. You could be retired and single, even though we're not looking at love. This is a chance where you don't have to have approval from everyone. No matter what you're doing, you may be lacking approval or understanding, but I see so much positive energy here. So what? Do what you need to do. Have some fun. Get out there. Let the inner child have some fun. You may be deciding to spend a little bit of time with children in your life, grandchildren or your own children, or just connecting with something that always made you happy. I'm all for that. The spread is overwhelmingly good. I would hope for that as we're entering into holiday season here. So also we have a lot of different potential family members here with the Knight of Cups, Page of Wands, Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands. It's a mixed group. Not everyone's going to be happy all the time. So I think the other thing here is making sure that if there is sort of like a family gathering or a table, making sure that the right people are together, that you're understanding like how to kind of mix and match all of that. That's one of these things as well. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. Some of you want to go back to school, and I think that's great because of the wisdom and the hermit cards connected as well. All right, students, speaking of school, you're treading well. I mean, the semester's done, right? So we're really looking at the next semester. You couldn't ask for a better card than the Hermit, really, with education. So I like that. I think that this is a really nice trajectory here. Wisdom, Queen of Cups, Sun. Keep doing what you're doing. Take a little bit of a break. Enjoy this break, assuming that you have a winter break. And this is a good period in time. Now, the only thing that I'm looking at here is make sure that you're able to express your thoughts and your creativity. So if you're an artist at heart, but you're not in an artistic sort of trajectory, make sure that you're thinking it through, because you're going to be in a career for a while. So if you need to adjust it so that there's more artistic or creative classes, or you want to change major, for sure. But that's what I'm getting here is innovation, creativity, boss energy. So maybe some of you want to be more on the MBA side, but whatever it is, one of those elements needs to be present as we look at the next semester, because we're kind of looking ahead. I covered everything. Let's move on to love. We're going to go lighter in this because I went so deep in that. Healing is so important. I did touch upon that with the lovers for today. I said like attracts like. And if you're not feeling that sense of love, acceptance, and healing within, it's very hard for others to feel it, and for you to attract love in general, because we were just talking about this. If your heart isn't open, other people have a hard time connecting or opening up with that as well. You may also be focusing on healing the body, healing emotionally, and whatever you need to do in order to facilitate that healing, now is the time to do that. Okay, let's take a look now at 3 major categories: current relationships, then those that are seeking love, and then those that are seeking love, and then single and happy. All right, if you're in a current relationship, quiet energy came forth. These 2 cards are very stuck in their own ways. So there could be someone here that everything feels like it's cool, but they're not really tuning into you. So taking time to just sort of like make sure that you're having a date night or spending time with each other. Also, there's so much family energy here pulling you in different directions for those that do have a family, whether it's your own children or your extended family, making sure that they're not getting in the way of the 2 of you. Because I really feel like there's too many cooks in the kitchen here. There's also too much focus on optics, external point of view, like what other people think. It's between you and your partner at the end of the day. If you're happy, what you're doing, what your next decision is. These are the partner cards that are kind of showing up here. Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands. This one's very receptive, very kind, very loving. This one shows how she feels. She doesn't always say how she feels. So there may be a need to not just demonstrate, but articulate. I did this because I appreciate you. Thank you so much. This party needs a little more validation. So saying and showing it is the key to success. Again, I'm getting expansion of family. So you could be welcoming in a pet, a child, or there's something really positive that the 2 of you are embarking upon together, and planning that can also be a source of togetherness. Tune out this feedback in the environment, whether it's friends, family, coworkers, or just whoever it is around you that always seems to have a point of view that isn't positive. The rest of the cards are pretty good. Okay, and I do like this. If you extend appreciation and love, it seems like it's reciprocated and it's received. All right, looking at those who are seeking love, can you find it? Yes. There's more than one option in front of you. Be discerning. What are you looking for, and why are you looking for it? I'm not worried about can you. It's why and what. And I think the main thing here is to focus on this. There's a little bit of healing to be done, and really seeing yourself through this moment. Once you do that, we have the sun shining after that rainstorm. Things will be fine. The kind of energy that's coming through is really passionate. Sun energy and Queen of Wands, a lot of passion there. And there's a lot of receptivity here. So yes, but 3 to 5 days of this week are going to be requiring internal work before that happens. And then we see something really great happening. If you're single and happy, it's a good time to be so, because you could focus on creative endeavors. You could focus on personal development. You could focus on, for some of you, even deciding to try something brand new. Like this is a rich spread for just possibilities. The sky is the limit. So I think in this moment, you're untethered. Use that to your advantage and have fun. Spread your wings a little bit. Explore. Okay? Now let's move on to destiny. We have Mother Mary coming through, and let's read the card. She was reversed. She says, miraculous encounter, divine experiences. Don't be afraid of being powerful. Amen to that. She's also just unconditionally loving and accepting. So for yourself, you need to have that maternal energy. We could just think of her as, actually the card that represents her in illustration often is High Priestess, but something between High Priestess and Empress. Kind, loving, intuitive. Do it for yourself and know that great things can happen. I love the miraculous piece on this and how beautifully timed for this week, yes. So, this is a moment where you can surpass your expectations. Things could end up better than you think. You're your own worst critic is what I get when I look at that card. All she sees is love. Why do we have such a hard time sometimes seeing the love that we're capable of creating and also the love that we are also deserving of and already showing up with? She just wants you to be able to tune into that. All right, let's look at a big idea. And then we're gonna take it into two pieces because it's abundance and opportunities. Then we'll meditate and we'll look at a final card. All right, so let's give the cards a shuffle. We're gonna do two cards here, abundance and opportunities. One for abundance, one for opportunities. Okay, so in abundance, we have a reversal. Page of Pentacles, I am open to receive. I want this. So in order to open up abundance, sometimes you have to say, I want, I need, let's do. So communicating wants, wishes, desires, and expectations. Because you know what you want, but not everybody does. I'm sure you've heard someone say, well, I wish you would have told me. I wish I would have known. Not everybody has a deck of cards, nor should they have to use it. Just speak up if there's something that you need, expect, or want. What a beautiful card for the Emperor. All right, so this is connected to opportunities. Take the lead. Take the initiative. Do it. You can do it. We have Capricorn energy coming forth here as well, very beautifully illustrated. So this is your chance to get into that mindset of not just like I can do it, but here's how I want to do it. So this is project lead, creative lead. Yeah, it is boss energy, for lack of a better word, but you could be deciding to work on a project, a creative project. And like I said, feel free to keep it to yourself until you're ready to share it with the world. Also, by the way, very appropriate that came through because have you ever noticed that it's a goat and a fish together? And what is a mermaid? She's half human and half fish. So we have to kind of we have all the elements represented, well, not really, we need air, but the goat's in the air. So a lot of flexibility with the aquatic. You have to be in touch with your emotions, right? And then we have definitely between these some earth and a little bit of air. So finding a way to bring it into motion and infuse your passion into everything. There are no swords though, and I may do a reader's choice at the end. Let's see what the final card comes up as, but there needs to be execution and communication. It's lacking. So I can just say it without having to pull a card on that. And the sky is the limit. The star is the limit here. I love the Ankh on the background here, knowing your power, seeing it, and sharing it with others. He's passionate. He's showing the way. This is how we're going to do it. Create a plan. This can be your New Year's resolution. All right? This is a fun deck to read with. It's fun sometimes to look at it from kids' perspective because it's all possibilities. And I think sometimes we get mired down in some of the darker energy. So this is why I think I needed to pull it for this moment. Okay, we have a couple of additional parts here. Before we move forward, just a quick reminder, the easiest way to say thanks is to subscribe if you haven't already. If you're a subscriber, remember to like, and then when this goes on replay, leave a comment. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for the meditation. And then we'll come back to all the sort of wrap up here. So for meditation today, I like this card. Constellations is what we're going to focus on. So take a little look at this before you close your eyes, and then imagine that as you close your eyes, you're in a part of the world where you can see the stars. Maybe it's in the wilds of Australia or New Zealand, or it's in Scandinavia, or a part of Europe where there's just not a lot of cities. Unfortunately, there's a lot of parts of the US that are just, there's too much pollution and light pollution. But wherever you're at, just imagine that you could see the Milky Way. You could see the infinite stars above you. And you can see something coming into focus. And it's your own personal constellation of possibilities. You could create your own totem. So it doesn't have to specifically be what we see in this card. It could be a symbol that means something to you. A hummingbird, a bee, a star, like the shape of a star. Whatever it is that you want to see, and then imagine that you could reach out to that totem and pull it into your heart space so that that constellation is shining in your heart. Know this: you are ready, you are worthy, and you are capable. See the constellation beating with each beat of your heart, and imagine that it's creating a clear line of sight, a compass. It's pointing you in the direction that you need to go. And even if you can't completely see the twists and turns in the journey, just know that your next step is bringing you closer to whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, okay? One last deep breath. Put your feet on the ground. Imagine now that the sun is rising and that constellation is in your heart. It's always been there. It always will be. And I want you now to focus on a final question that you have for me. Let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say. So we have a phoenix rising from the ashes in the judgment card here. In this particular deck, he chose to give it this title, forgiveness. So sometimes we do have to forgive ourselves and others in order to untether us. Traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card shows souls rising up from the dead. In this one, appropriately, we just have the phoenix. So we just conjured up the heart, the energy in the heart, the constellation there. All you have to do now is rise up. Rise up and say, I'm doing this. Not I can do this or I will do this. I am doing this. Forgiving yourself, though, can also help with whatever this is. Could've, should've, would've. Can I absolutely be the Five of Cups? So move it into I am. I'm doing this. There could also be for some of you this close call that you had. Something almost didn't work, or you had a wake-up call with your health and well-being. It does feel like you're turning a new corner here with the judgment card. And it's just a matter of accepting the call, answering the call. As a yes or no, you don't need me. You've already made the decision. You just have to follow through. This is a yes, but you already knew it was yes. The only time it's a no is if you don't believe in it. Like, you already know what to do. It's either to move forward or not to. It's in there. You've got the gut instinct. Just follow your gut. You're only going to be led astray if the gut isn't aligned with the action. And again, we don't have any swords, so I would say the missing piece is just deciding to take action. So this gives us what we need. The next one, we did get it in the 7-day forecast, so it's okay. We just need to get you into the King of Swords, which I believe was next Sunday. So all of this will help you get there, but then once you're ready, say it, speak it, do it. This was a powerful reading, wasn't it? A couple of quick pieces of business, and then we'll kind of wrap up here. So as I said, we have, I'm just looking at the calendar to make sure I'm correct on dates. Yeah. So we'll have our last collective next weekend, the 29th. I think for the last collective, I'm going to take what I can see as the least popular choices, but most important. And I'll either have you vote on them, or I think I might just do them all in a different, so we may not do a Celtic Cross. I may choose like 3 topics, and we'll pull 3 or 4 cards, and I'll do something different for that reading. And then we're going to do something much different for the New Year's Eve one. Namely, I think that's where, because I just don't have time to do a completely, like, looking at all 12 months for each sign. So I think we'll do, for everybody, something where we're looking at the year ahead. We'll tap into the elements. We'll do something different. The next 2 readings, I will shake up the format a little bit based on what I want. And this week, magically, somehow I will get all 12 readings done for the new year. I'm going to change the format up on those as well. Change is good, folks. Like I said, a little bit more succinct. I'll try to put everything that I normally do, but maybe change up how long I talk about each thing. So there you go. Thank you for your patience as I've been recovering, and Apollo obviously has been recovering. This has been a tumultuous December, but I'm glad to be here. And I think Apollo's behind me as well, resting again. Okay, couple orders of business. Like I said, if you like this, please subscribe, like, comment. You can also follow me on social media to make sure that you never miss out on a future reading. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all major platforms. And you can also find me on Blue Sky because TikTok may be going away. And Twitter isn't what it used to be. So that's a nice alternative for those of you that don't like to be in those two places. You can find me there as well. And of course, if you ever need direct links, you can go to my website or the main YouTube channel page where you'll see 13 links and they're all official and you can go there. If you'd like to give back in the form of super stickers, super chat, or memberships, thank you in advance. And I'm going to take a couple moments now to say thank you for those who were able to give back today. I just want to say thanks for everybody. You don't have to give up back to show up here. It's just great to see you. And that's why these are free. It's my way of showing up and giving back. We're going to start off first with members. And by the way, I think I still have 5 more that I can gift at the end of this month. So I'll do that on the next reading. All right, so welcome to or welcome back to the following. Let's see, abundantly, funny play on words, I like it. Frederick, Yolanda, Amy, Samantha, J. Marie, Lady V, Emma, Tiffany, Julie, I'm sunny side up, the Aquatrix, I think it is, Elena and Sue. Thanks everybody for joining or rejoining. I do appreciate that. Let me take a couple moments to recognize the stickers, and then we'll look at any sort of anniversaries and things of that nature after that. All right, so super stickers and super chat. Here we go. To the following, I'd like to say much thanks. Oh, Tahoe, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Kicking things off, very generous. Lucy, thank you. Teresa, thank you as well for the generosity there. Jackie, Monica, Carla, Aaron, Jeannie, Veruca, Rafaela, Tink, Popcorn, Amitabha, and Wendy. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for these beautiful holiday gifts. I appreciate it. It will help me create some new stuff. In fact, like I said, I'm editing a new podcast for the new year, so that'll help go into editing and production costs for that. So thank you. Okay, quickly looking at those who celebrated an anniversary. Let's do that next. Okay. Let's see here. All right, Schoolhouse Intuitive, thank you for gifting a membership. Tahoe, 41 months. Thank you for the blessings for Apollo, for being here for a long time, and again, for your generosity today. Karen, 47 months. That's crazy long. I appreciate that. Happy holidays to you as well. Let's see. Is it Vidisha? Thank you very much. Thank you for Apollo's well wishes. And again, appreciate you, Tahoe, on that, for your generosity too. Lucy, gifting a membership. Thank you. And another gifted one from Schoolhouse Intuitive. Colette, thank you for the 5 memberships that you just gifted. And Teresa for gifting another. Let's see who else. And then also they're just recognizing that, Aaron, this is your 5th super on a live stream. So thank you for that as well. Okay, I think I recognize all of the outstanding stuff there. If I missed anything, I know that Dakota is always kind in making sure that that's been seen. I think Wendy might have just given one at the end as well. All right, everybody, that is it for today. Thank you so much for your love, for your support. Let's give Apollo a little scratch on the head, and then we'll wrap up for today. Yes, I know. All right, everyone. Thank you for your love, your support. Have an amazing holiday week. If you celebrate, whatever you celebrate, even if you don't, just have an amazing week ahead. I will see you again, same time, same place next week. Plus, we'll have a bonus one on New Year's Eve. Time to be decided on that, but probably early afternoon. All right, everyone. Wishing you much love and light. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.